Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to another trading session. It is Tuesday, so yesterday we had the first day of the month. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great weekend as well. So usually I tend to miss, and I honestly I prefer to miss the first day of the week, because the first day of the week, not the week, the first day of the month, because the first day of the month is always strange. Usually it is strange at the New York AM session, so that's why I didn't stream and didn't make anything. I just took a trade here on demo, as you can see, on the New York PM session. And yeah, let's take a look at the charts and let's get straight to it. Let's see what we can eventually expect from today's price action. Well, looking at it so far, if you look into the 15-minute time frame, and if you zoom out a little bit, you can eventually see some type of AMD here. Here you have some type of accumulation starting on Asia, and then we have some type of manipulation to the downside here on London that I'm marking here. Where is the manipulation? It's here. So accumulation, manipulation on London, and eventually we can expect a distribution to the upside here on New York, New York AM. The only thing that is important to mention is that we are inside of a new week opening gap, and it can eventually be some type of a strange price action here inside. But honestly, I'm expecting previous day high as our draw on liquidity. I think that price will come above the new week opening gap. We already had a down close candle here on the 15 minute, which can eventually be a order block if we manage to close above it. But right now, the plan is to wait a bit more, to wait for the opening, and to wait as well for 10 a.m. news that we will have here as well. So job openings, factory orders, usually it's not a big volatility news driver, but it can eventually be some type, it can eventually present some type of volatility, and that's why I prefer to stay on the sidelines until there and see what price really wants to do. Well, if we come back to the, I will take the accumulation out, the manipulation as well, and distribution, just to make things a little bit more clear. Let's zoom in a bit. And yeah, we have previous day high, probably as our drawn liquidity. And right now, price is trying to creep higher, a little bit higher here. We got rejected at 8:30 open here so far, but we are still 3 minutes before the open. So 9:30 as the open. Let me just mark it here as well. 9:30 open, and wait for 9:30 to start. If I look at the 1 minute, the 1 hour chart here, and if I zoom out a little bit, and if I take a measure of OTE levels, taking it to the start of the up leg until this high here, you can see that price really came down to the equilibrium of the range. And as soon as it touched the equilibrium, price retraced right away from it to the upside. It really touched a new week opening gap. So the new week opening gap is acting as a trampoline. And whenever we have price treating the new opening gaps as trampolines, as you can see here, so it made a quick reaction to it. We can eventually expect an expansion on the opposite side. So that really happened here, and I'm eventually expecting a bit more of a push to the upside here. Now taking the measure of OTE levels here for the actual bullish leg, it can eventually happen that we will retrace a bit more, but I'm not expecting price to come that way far from where it is now. So yeah, I'm eventually expecting really previous day high as the drawn liquidity, and let's see if we can get a bit more to the upside here. But so far that's the main bias, and that's the main idea for today's price action. I'm really waiting for 9:30 to give us something. It could eventually give us some Judas swing to the downside, taking out these lows, but reacting right quickly to the upside, or it can eventually go straight to previous day high. If it really comes straight to previous day high, then I'm expecting a hard session because the main draw is taken. It can eventually be a one-sided session as well, where price just goes above previous day high and continues creeping higher. But yeah, we will have to wait for something. Eventually, what can happen as well is that we take previous day high and then we start to retrace lower. That's also something that we have to take in mind. So right now, a huge displacement to the upside here as soon as we hit 9:30. So I'm expecting previous day high to be taken in a couple of minutes. And yeah, the drawn liquidity will be taken quite fast here without any hesitation. And eventually what we can expect is a continuation until probably -2 standard deviation here. I took this projection here from the last swing low here, as you can see. This is the measure of the projection. This was the manipulation of yesterday's price action on New York AM here, as you can see. And if you really take a fib here, just let me take a fib here once again. So this is the manipulation leg. And if you project it to the upside, you can see that, yeah, -2 point standard deviation will be somewhere near the previous day high here, which I have here as well. So this is just a measure of measure to honestly keep me in mind that we can eventually go higher. But so far, price open at 9:30, displays to the upside with a big candle. It is trying to get out of the new week opening gap, but it retraced back down. So let's see if it offers some type of first presented fair value gap or not. It may probably offers right now, as we can see here. So let's see. So this should be our first presented fair value gap. If the it's 931 and yeah, 932. Yeah, this should be the first presented fair value gap here. And let's see if we can eventually respect it and stay below it. If we really stay below it, I think we will have some kind of a Judas swing to the downside, taking out these lows here. If not, if price just comes above it and eventually, yeah, it's not giving us the first presented right now. I will wait a bit more. Yeah, we have a tiny one here, which is this one. Yeah, this is the, we'll take out the macro as well. So this is the first presented here. I'm just adjusting these opening prices here. So as you can see, price really is really playing above 830 open, 930 open. It kind of rejected the exit of the new week opening gap. I will put this a little bit more to the side here, just to keep it clear that this is the new week opening gap. And yeah, let's wait a bit more. This is the 4-hour candle high right now, the actual 4-hour candle high. Buy side liquidity as the 4-hour candle high, and the 4-hour candle low should be at 6 a.m. So should be this low here. Let me just grab it once again. Yeah, there we go. So sell side liquidity as the last 4-hour candle low. So first presented fair value gap is here. We kind of rejected it. We are trying to get a below 830 open and 930 open. We have some relative equal high lows here, as you can see here. But keep in mind that NQ already took these lows. So this can eventually be some type of an SMT here, since we have NQ taking out these lows already. So I will take this relative equal lows here, SMT here with NQ. So what I'm expecting is a continuation to the upside. As you can see here, prices reaching once again for the first presented fair value gap here. So at this point, I will really wait for the macro, the 950 to 1010 macro. Eventually wait for 10 a.m. as well, since we have jolts, job openings, and factory orders, news driver. It can eventually move the market a bit more than we are expecting. So that's why I'm just waiting for it. Right now on the 15 minutes, we have an SMT since NQ already took a high on the 15-minute, the high from the 2nd of June at 4 p.m. So this high here is already taken by NQ. NQ really displaced to the upside and gave us a big candle taking out these highs. So previous day high is already taken on NQ, which can mark a big SMT. So far, the first presented fair value gap is respected. Price tried to stay above the end walk, but it didn't have the strength to do it. We are at -2 standard deviation as well on the fib projection. So yeah, let's wait a bit more. If this SMT really confirms, I can eventually expect lower prices here. If not, if we manage to stay above and creep a little bit higher here, then I will consider higher prices. But the main draw was previous day high. It got reached on NQ. ES kind of left it open still, but we still have in between 4 to 5 minutes until the 15-minute candle closes. So price is now struggling in a back and forth action. And I want to see now if these fair value gaps here that are being formed after the first presented got will they be respected or not? If it really comes higher, or if it comes lower. If it really comes lower, we start to respect bearish price, bearish PD arrays. It doesn't seem the case here, but I will take this out for now. Yeah, ES pushing higher, getting out of the new week opening gap. So far, respecting bullish PD arrays as well. Yes, coming back down once again here, reaching for the first presented and this bullish PD array here. Let's see if we invert this. Since we already took this high here, this is the 930 high. Or if we continue to the upside, I guess we will continue to the upside since we have previous day high here on ES to be taken out as well. NQ already took it out, but we still have to wait. Price kind of stopped here, and it's normal for price to stop when you have 10 a.m. news. it's making a it's making a some type of a wait for for the news driver to deliver. So that's why I'm just keeping myself on the sidelines as well for now. Not expecting anything from price. Things are a bit more clear on NQ. Seems like it wants to run a bit more to the upside. Seems like ES is the, as ICT call it, this sicker or the weaker sister. We have about 4 minutes before macro territory here, starting at 950, and now price is really retesting once again the first presented fair value gap and the bullish fair value gap that is maintaining price here above the N walk. So yeah. There we go, NQ making a push to the upside here. So far, there's a strong opening on NQ. Already making new high, while ES is struggling here a bit. it could be acceptable for price to reach for minus 2.5 standard deviation, taking out previous day high. That would be the ideal scenario. Price coming a bit more to the upside. But as soon as we get to minus standard 2 deviation, retracing back down in a strong way, and then seeking for some type of a retrace back into the N walk, this would be an ideal situation, since drawn liquidity is being hit, minus 2.5 standard deviation being hit as well, and price retracing back down to the yen walk, taking out the liquidity that is left here as well. As you can see, these relative equal lows, we can eventually measure these lows here as well. So this should be what we are eventually looking for if price really continues to the upside. That would be some hard price action to follow, honestly. So the SMT is still there on NQ and ES. We have an SMT on the 4-hour as well. And the macro just started here. Let's see if we can invert this bullish PD array and the first presented fair value gap. I guess we are primed to go a little bit lower. If not, price will maintain this area until 10 a.m., I guess. Let's see if the first presented and this fair value gap here can hold price to the upside, taking us for another run to the upside until previous day high, or if it will go lower and see for lower prices, see for these relative equal lows, these lows right here as well. NQ definitely is the strongest one. It kind of retraced from these BD rays here already. While ES is debating with them still. I'll just move this a bit more to the downside just to make it a bit more clean. And yeah, so far NQ and ES are kind of asymmetrical, especially on the 1 minute time frame. While NQ is pushing to the upside, ES is debating with these lows here. So not a clear environment, honestly. I guess we are waiting for 10 a.m. news as well, so that's why. and the ES losing the first presented. Still inside this bullish one here. But so far, nothing clear. The only thing that I can see is a move to the upside here, honestly, since NQ is dragging ES as well. We still have an SMT with NQ and ES, especially on the 15-minute. And now we have about 5 minutes before the news driver to hit. So price can eventually decide which which way it will run as soon as the news driver hits. So ES really coming down, losing the first presented fair value gap here. Let's see if we will invert this one. Yeah, this is so far this is a tricky opening where you have price displacing to the upside, coming right back where it opened and coming right away back above. And yeah, it's a tricky open here. Bet and Q really pushing price to the upside. So far we have these relative equal highs as well. So 3 minutes before the news. Meanwhile, NQ did a new high, while ES is kind of low here. Another SMT on the 1 minute time frame as well. So 2 minutes before the news. And yes, really struggling to get out of this range here. And Q trying to push a little bit further. So 1 minute here. and we will have 10 a.m. news release. So this might give us a clearer view about what price really wants to do. But so far, NQ and ES doing some type of an asymmetrical job, an asymmetrical price action. There we go. News release taking us to previous day high, right to the tick, as you can see here. And now I'm just waiting a bit more for price to get a little bit more stable. As you can see here, even if you had some type of order, you would be you would be in trouble. This was a quick move, a price wicked down and wicked right away above everything that it had here, taking out sell side buy side liquidity. And yeah, ES really struggling here. If the first presented fair value gap holds and this bullish PD array holds as well, we might see a run to the upside, taking out this wick here, which is data highs now. And Q is still pushing to the upside. Yeah, NQ is really pushing higher. First presented got respected here. So I guess we will move a bit higher here on ES as well. But I really would like to see some type of a movement. There we go. So this is the high of the 4-hour candle right now. As soon as we opened at 10 a.m., we took out the high. So this is a tricky situation as well. That's why I'm not engaging with price right now. We have a lot of lows here, a lot of liquidity here. And as you can see, price is really inside this consolidation box. So it means that there is nothing much that we can do here, since price is struggling to get out of this this box. And whenever you have price dealing inside of a range like this, you have to be very cautious about what it really wants to do. It will probably entice you on some breakout moves, and as I said on, and as I told you before on other streams, you should not engage when prices inside of consolidation boxes like this one. It will entice you to go on some type of a breakout, but you have to be very cautious because it tends not to do the breakaway on the first try. And that's why I'm keeping it very cautious today. See, price retracing back. It really enticed us for a breakout here, but it is really retracing back with some type of weakness here, back to the first presented, back to this bullish PD array. And so far, the 950 to 10 macro is kind of empty, not offering as much. And now I would like to see if price really stays above 930 open or below it and 830 open. And if it really goes below it, I will probably engage with some kind of a short. Price really came back to the end walk. Now I would like to see it uh, play below 930 and 830 open. If it comes back into this bullish PD array and the first presented fair value gap, then that would be a strange situation. But it really took this these lows here that we were mentioning before. Yeah, but it came right away back to the range. So it took out these lows here, back to the range, back above the first presented fair value gap. And if you really want to see price coming higher, I don't want to see it retrace back down once again. So yeah, it's kind of a hard environment here. Meanwhile, NQ is trying to push to the upside once again. Yeah, at this point, I will just observe because he has really took these lows here. There's still some liquidity here as well. ES can eventually come once again to the previous day high. This is the data high as well. Then eventually displace to the downside and give us some retrace. Yeah, for a long position here, yeah, this is a crappy risk to reward. So we can eventually extend it to minus two standard deviation here. But yeah, it's not my cup of tea, honestly. Yeah, this is just a schematic, so I will not take this position since we are some kind of in a tricky in a tricky spot here. Yeah, imagine that we entered here. We'll just adjust the stop loss and take price eventually to minus 2 standard deviation, 2.5 standard deviation here. That could eventually be some type of a trade, but uh, the only reason why I'm considering this is because we took out these lows here, the lows previous 930. But yeah, that's not the best and ideal setup, honestly. Yeah, so far working out. As you can see, yeah, so far bullish PD arrays are being respected here on the move to the upside to take out previous day high. Let me take a measure of manipulation here. So this should be it. Yeah, it kind of has some minus standard 4 deviation, has some kind of a confluence with minus 2.5 on the higher time frames. And here you have another confluence here, minus 2.5 standard deviation on buy side liquidity here as the previous day high as well. Yeah, let's see if price really gives us a sweep here of previous day high. We will do it now. Boom. And now I would like to see what type of reaction do we have here. Yeah, so far, if we had taken this long here, um, if we have taken this long here, you should eventually take off some of your position here at previous day high. You could leave eventually a runner to the upside, at least until minus 2.5 standard deviation. But since it is a liquidity point here, uh, I would eventually take out the full position, which would give me some type of a 1.5 R. Yeah. Meanwhile, NQ just struggling a bit here. So right now, I'm just waiting for something to happen here. Price really continues to the upside. We'll probably not engage. We'll wait for some type of um, retrace to the downside. We are now above midnight open, above 8:30 open, 9:30 open, and yeah, it's price is really in a premium right now. So buying into premium, it's kind of tricky. You really have to know what you're doing to buy or to go long in a premium. But yes, since the 9:30 open, we had this consolidation box here on ES. It really came above it, displaced to the downside, took out these highs, displaced to the downside, took out these lows, retraced back above it, taking out the highs once again. So it's and if you look here as well, if you take just two lines here will eventually give you an idea that price is not in an ideal state to trade, because every high is being taken out, every low is being taken out, and yeah, it's like a megaphone pattern. Is if you look here, just let me search for a megaphone here. Yeah, something like this, you know. The megaphone pattern. It's very hard to trade. Meanwhile, NQ just got a bit weaker as well. Right now, we have new highs on ES, but we don't have those highs on NQ. Well, since the main draw is kind of hit here on ES on NQ, uh, it will be tricky to frame something unless price really gives us a hint of what it wants to do. I forgot to mention when we were here. If you notice that as price action, the way these candles just presented themselves, um, yeah, that was a quick, fast run to the downside, taking out lows, but it really stopped. You know, it retraced back, and then you had no more continuation, no follow through on this bearish leg here. And whenever you see this on price action, you can eventually consider that this will be some type of a manipulation leg, or a stop on hunt, or yeah, something that's not certain, and something that will entice retail traders to take a position. Um, but in the meantime, this move will stop and eventually go in the other direction. So be very careful whenever you see price trying to get out of a box or a consolidation box or something like that in a quick move, in a volatile move. Yeah, keep that in mind that it can eventually be some type of a manipulation, and a lot of traders tend to go after it, and then they will get trapped in their positions. So keep that in mind. So price is creeping above, creeping to the upside. I will see if we will hit minus 2.5 standard deviation here, and see what type of reaction does ES has whenever we reach for this one. Yeah, right now, ES is creeping above the previous day high, sweeping that high, while NQ it's kind of weak now. It seems like it wants to go a little bit higher, but it's not doing the same as ES is. So I'm just expecting for it to go for minus 2.5 standard deviation and see if we got some type of displacement to the upside, formation of some type of a bullish PD array, but displacing lower and boom to the downside back into the range. So this is what I'm waiting to see if it happens or not. Just let me check the 15-minute here. Yeah. So we swept the buy side liquidity as the previous day high. And now let's see if we continue higher or not and see um, if price really wants to continue its way to the upside or if it will start some type of a retrace back lower. Well, so far, nothing special. I will wait for 1050 to 1110 here, just to see if we get something to play with. Price retracing. Nothing special right now. I will just mark the OTE levels and see if this retrace can eventually um, respect OTE levels and continue to the upside, or if it will just continue to the downside. It seems like price wants to go for another run to the upside. If you look into NQ, it has some relative equal highs. So at this point, since we didn't get anything from the 950 macro, at this point, I advise you to wait for 1050 and see if 1050 is a bit more clear about price action. Really would like to see ES coming to minus 2.5 standard deviation and eventually presenting us with some type of a displacement to the downside, reaching for some type of a retrace down as well, since we have a lot of liquidity here. So if you think logically, those who are buying since 5, 6, 7 a.m., they are still banking, and usually the algorithm doesn't allow you to bank for such a long period of time. So it kind of is expectable for price to do some type of a retrace lower. But if you look into higher time frames like the 15 minute, the 15-minute is really taking price into some type of an expansion to the upside that I really anticipated the expansion. Told you right at the first minutes of the stream that I could eventually see previous day high to be taken, because here we had some type of a accumulation started inside Asia. Then we had the manipulation down, and usually the accumulation and manipulation is followed by a distribution, and the distribution got price into previous day high, which was marked here and acted as our main drawn liquidity. But honestly, it was kind of hard to engage with price. At some point, I had a schematics here with a long position entering here. It was just like this until minus 2.5 standard deviation here. And yeah, if you had taken this long here, you should have probably take some partials here. But in the meantime, price didn't follow as much, didn't offer as much. So yeah, it's not, the conditions are not ideal, honestly. And this price action here, if you engage with it, yeah, you would have been destroyed, honestly, because since 9:30 to, I mean, to 10:07, yeah, 10:10, price was really inside a box. It took out the highs, it took out the lows. It's now taking out the highs once again. And yeah, I guess we will eventually go back to it as soon as we hit minus 2.5 standard deviation. So price really stopped right now. It's probably waiting for 1050 just to see some measure of volatility injection. It will probably engineer some more liquidity here. And if you look at NQ, NQ is already engineering liquidity. It has some relative equal highs already in place. So yes, trying to reach for minus 2.5 standard deviation here. Let's see if it will offer us something, because honestly, things are, everything is getting into place. ES is reaching for a major retrace area. We are approaching 1050 macro. We are above previous day high. So yeah, it might offer us something, but if you look at the 15 minute, really, it is a tricky one here, because yeah, we are in the middle. We are at the end of an expansion here, honestly. But looking at the same time at the 4 hour, it's kind of tricky. We took the previous 4 hour candle high. Yeah, we can retrace a bit lower, but right now we are honestly in a some type of a bullish order flow. So 3 minutes before 1050. Let's see if price will offer us something inside um, inside the macro. Price really slowly, slowly creeping up. Not with a not with the strength that we would like to see. So 1 minute. Let's see if price really offers something like this. This is what I really would like to see, but since we are on a bullish order flow, it can eventually not happen. So we have to maintain our expectations a bit lower here. Meanwhile, NQ is approaching the high of the day as well. And we are inside the macro territory. So let's see. Let's see if something happens, if some kind of displacement happens, if the algorithm just gives a hint about what really will happen. Notice that we are in a premium. So we are above midnight open, 9:30 open, 8:30 open, and above the previous day high as well. So minus 2.5 standard deviation reached on ES. And we had some kind of a of an SMT here with NQ that that I did not notice. Yeah, and this could eventually be the trigger to the upside, but since we are at minus 2.5 standard deviation, expecting some type of a retrace, that would not, this would not be the ideal for me. You can see here there's no major displacements, there's no strength on price here, there's no speed, there is no volatility. The only trigger for a long position should eventually be this SMT. It kind of formed a breaker on NQ, but not on ES. Yeah, price maintaining its way to the upside here. Not with the speed that we would like to see. It's just creeping to the upside. But yeah, so far, the only thing that could eventually trigger a long position was this right here. The schematic that I put here, as soon as price came here and reached for these lows, I mentioned it somewhere in the stream. I did not engage with it because yeah, the price action on ES was kind of ugly when this was presented here, but it could eventually worked since we had a breaker inside this range here. So this was the unique position that I can see here on ES. So looking now in hindsight, as you can see here, so if we imply this one, it should be the position here, the long position that we kind of missed it, but it's okay since price was not that clean. I had the idea about where price was going, but could not find the entry. And yeah, at this point, high time frames are really pushing price to the upside. Um, if you look into the 15 minute, the 15 minute really is an expansion to the upside here. Well, I guess these type of days are those days where you know that price will drive itself to some to some point. You know that price will go from A to B, but it's kind of hard to frame an entry here. And yeah, It's those days where you know where price will go and there's no entry. There is nothing clean, and you may have to accept that. And right now the macro almost ended. Price is trying to retrace a little bit lower. Yeah, price just keeps going to the upside. We honestly are entering the 2 hour mark on the stream, I think. Just let me check here. Yeah, 5 minutes to go. So at this point, I think I will stay about more 5 minutes, and then I will close close the stream here. Yeah, these was these were one of those days that uh, we had an idea about where price wanted to go, but things were not clear here on ES. Honestly, it was a bit more clear on NQ, but ES didn't offer us the price action that I was really expecting. Um, since we were some type of near the previous day high and the buy side liquidity from the previous from the actual 4 hour candle high was kind of uncertain to take any longs here. But yeah, this could have been a position that could have worked eventually here on the downside as well when price really retraced back into this fair value gap here. Um, but yeah, price was inside a range. It already took buy side liquidity in previous day highs, buy side liquidity as well as the 4 hour candle high. So it was not that clear, honestly. But but I'm but I'm grateful about how how we managed to read price, especially on the 15 minute. Price was really clean on the 15 minute. The expansion to the upside was a, was what I was expecting, and yeah, it really happened. So I'm glad about it, honestly. And yeah, we are entering the 11 hour 11 a.m. time where usually something like a retrace happens. I don't know if we will have that since we are in a bullish order flow. It should have happened here as soon as we touched minus 2.5 standard deviation. But yeah, it was a good read of price action, and I'm content about it. But it's always tricky whenever you have a one-sided market with minor manipulation here. It's always tricky to engage with something like that, and 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 if you're not able to engage in something like that, you just have to be fine with yourself, and yeah, and tomorrow is another day. Not every day is a setup day or something like that. So before ending the stream, let me just give you some words of advice as well, since this is the first week of June, the first week of the month. On Friday, it is usually a NFP day, so we will have NFP on Friday. And whenever you have NFP on Friday, your trading week should eventually close at Wednesday on the New York AM session. You should not take your trading sessions further than Wednesday New York AM session, because price will eventually stall. Um, it will probably engineer liquidity um, in between Wednesday afternoon and Friday. And then on Friday, it will have some manual intervention, taking out all that liquidity that was engineered in between those days. And so, yeah, usually those days are low probability days as well. I will be here tape reading it most of all. Probably not engaging with price, but yeah, keep that in mind. Whenever you have a first week of the month, expect an NFP non-farm payroll on Friday, and those days are really tricky, because those days are filled with manual intervention. So yeah, keep that in mind. Don't try to engage with those types of market, because um, usually you will be some type of liquidity for the algorithm or the market makers that are riding those waves of volatility and manual intervention. Okay. Um, so yeah, it is now 11:20, and it doesn't seem like price wants to do anything new here. It will probably deliver a little bit higher, but yeah, I was expecting some type of a reaction here as soon as we traded into minus 2.5 standard deviation. It didn't happen. It was a clean move to the upside here. It was not clean here when ES tried to get out of the of this range, but yeah. So I guess we are done here. We'll be here tomorrow at the same time as usual. Expect me in between 9:15 to 9:30 New York AM time, local time. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great afternoon, a great day, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye.